of me that I've been hiding from much too long. I've been too afraid to let it show, cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. It's time to step out on faith. I gotta show my face. It's been elusive for so long. Freedom is mine today. I gotta step out on faith. I gotta show my face. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me.
Last week, Marlon in his sermon introduced us to the world of Barbie. If you hadn't seen the now over $1 billion blockbuster movie, then spoiler alert, I'm going to share a bit more about the movie. In fact, by the end of this month, if you hadn't seen it, you might as well save that $15. Because you're going to know all about Barbie. All you need to know about Barbie. Now, this is the month, the theme of the month is evolution. And somebody had the wise, bright idea to add Barbie in the mix. And I'm not naming names. Marlon. So you see what I got to work with, right? But I saw the movie twice. Man, there's so much that we can learn from this film. I even considered entitling the sermon Barbie Wise, because there was so much or so many wisdom nuggets. While much of the wisdom is understated and implied, there are some quotes that stand out, such as, humans only have one ending, ideas live forever. I want to be a part of the people that make meaning, not the thing that is made. Here's one. We mothers stand still so our daughters can look back and see how far they have come. We have to always be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. That's life. It's all change. In this movie, like in many other works of literature and cinematography, we get to witness and experience the transformation of characters, their awakening or evolution, if you will. The plot of the movie, Barbie suddenly comes to self-awareness, accompanied by the usual existential dread, and goes on a journey to discover herself, a journey that leads her to the world of humans. But the idea of a doll coming to life is not new. We have classics like Pinocchio and more recent Toy Story, as well as a plethora of other books, movies, and shows in which inanimate objects gain consciousness and become self-aware. Stories like these fascinate our minds because underneath their clever and entertaining plots, they appeal to our insatiable wonder about the world around us and our place in it. Questions like, who am I? And what am I made for? And what is my purpose are universal. And sometimes it takes a doll coming to life to help us to distill what being human is all about. Playing on the stereotype that women are emotional and that emotions and logic are inherently in conflict, a scene in Barbie portrays an all-female Supreme Court case where one litigant maintains that she incorporates her emotions to help inform her decisions, stating, quote, I have no difficulty holding both logic and feelings at the same time, and it does not diminish my powers. Rather, it expands them, end quote. Folks, that's what we call emotional intelligence. The film addresses more than just feminism and patriarchy. and beauty standards. It also gently pokes fun at consumerism and even gives a subtle nod to the Q plus community. It's a complex, multi-layered film for the complex, multifaceted world in which we live. Many of the issues have plagued humanity for millennia, such as greed for material wealth and power, irresponsible and selfish choices, and pride, lack of humility are still with us today, but now we are witnessing their destructive power on a global scale. More and more of us are realizing the need for our species to take an evolutionary jump in consciousness in order to transcend our limitations. But this concept isn't new. Jesus, Buddha, and other luminaries have called us to awaken and come to our senses. Right now, we have infantile men ruling nations, threatening to destroy the planet if they don't get their way. Men who cannot feel or empathize with the senseless loss of life through the wars they wage, no doubt to soothe their own insecurities and fears. As the dominant species on this planet, the human race bears a unique responsibility to ever evolve, not only physically and intellectually, but also emotionally and ethically. Eliezer Yudkowsky, an artificial intelligence researcher and writer on decision theory and ethics, said, quote, "You are personally responsible for becoming more ethical than the society you grew up in," end quote. Well, that deserves an amen, right? Evolution, a fundamental process of change and adaptation, has shaped life on Earth for billions of years. From biological evolution to technological advancements, humans have continuously transformed and progressed. However, amidst all the material progress, the human race often overlooks the pressing need for emotional evolution, particularly in the realms of empathy, compassion, and an awareness of universal connectedness, or as the ancients called it, wisdom. Proverbs chapter 4 offers a beautiful poem, an ode to wisdom. Quote, "Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Wisdom is supreme, therefore get wisdom. And though it may cost you everything, get understanding. Esteem her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will set a garland of grace on your head and present you with a crown of splendor. Listen, my child, accept what I say, and the years of your life will be many. I guide you in the way of wisdom and lead you along straight paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. When you run, you will not stumble. Hold on to instruction. Do not let it go. Guard it, for it is your life." End quote. We currently exist in the era where the pursuit of information is immediate and widespread, where one can have an entire library in the palm of one's hand. We can speak with friends and family face to face across time zones and continents. And with a single keystroke, instant information translates into instant knowledge. Indeed, we live in the information age, but perhaps information and knowledge aren't nearly enough. There are some very intelligent folks around who can give us advice and tell us the real deal about a great number of things. And often they're right on the mark. But then you might take a look at their lives and you see that they haven't followed their own advice. I just saw somebody look to their left. Don't be looking at your spouse. They can tell you that you should sing, write a book, go back to school, and yet they sing, but only in the shower, have 5 published, unpublished books, and for the last 10 years have been short just 1 semester from getting a degree. See, many people refuse to do what they know to do. For example, if I ask you today, what must you do to lose weight? No doubt the majority would say something to this effect. You don't eat after 7 p.m., you avoid heavy carbs, high sugary foods and drinks, drink plenty of water, and you exercise. And you would be right. But that simple knowledge does not translate into wisdom, because what is known is not applied. And thus, Americans spend $33 billion a year on fad diets, mostly without any lasting effect. All the while, deep down within, they already know what to do. If I were to ask you, how many of you how to get out of debt? I might hear you stop the non-necessity spending, you pay off your credit cards each month, you budget, and then you save. And again, you would be right. And yet, American households in total hold over $11 trillion in debt and owe $686 billion on credit cards alone. One can have information and knowledge, but if you don't use it, it ain't working for you. Many of them don't use it correctly or ethically. Perhaps the forthcoming era for humanity is to embrace the age of wisdom, a time characterized by integration, reassessment, and course correction, an age marked by heightened intra and interrelational understanding, coupled with emotional intelligence. Wisdom is the ability to apply knowledge, experience, and insight to make sound judgments and decisions, often with a sense of empathy and understanding of the broader context. Knowledge is what you've learned and have understood about things. Wisdom goes further, showing that you really get it. And then you can use what you know in practical real-world situations. Some have said knowledge is the gateway to progress, and wisdom is the hallmark of the prudent. In the beginning of the film, we are told that Ken's entire purpose for existing is to be noticed and appreciated by Barbie. But that is a thing. But for most of the narrative, Ken is being treated as an unnecessary extension of Barbie. He's not important, needed, or appreciated. As Barbie undergoes her transformative journey, she experiences an awakening that enables her to understand the challenges others face and develops empathy for others, including Ken. In the end, Barbie chooses the real world over static perfection. She chooses the place where you and I live, with all its beauty and its ugliness, its heartbreak and its hope. And even though it brings suffering, divorce, death, and cellulite, that's in the movie, it will take an evolved empathy in order to nurture a deeper understanding of our fellow beings. The evolutionary jump may not come as a sudden onset of superpowers. It would be nice if it did, but that's not likely. Sorry, folks. We will evolve as a species when enough of us evolve individually, being awakened to our universal connectedness. In his book, A Dwelling Place for Wisdom, Raymond Paniker asserts, quote, "We all carry the responsibility for everything that ever occurred in the universe. Having transcended one's personal individualism just a little, one can cope with suffering and pain of this world. This overcoming is a part of wisdom." He goes on to say, quote, "At times, one encounters people who have integrated misfortune and suffering into their lives with an incredible sovereign serenity, in such a way that they have gained, in spite of the negative sides of life, a fountain of joy, depth, peace, and empathy. It is wisdom that enables us not to despair of suffering and to bear the negative aspects of human existence and the injustice in our society, everything that should make us revolt. Wisdom enables us not to give up good faith, hope, and even joy," end quote. So we can live with this confidence. Wisdom shows us how not to despair about the injustices of today. It allows us to peer into tomorrow embracing the truth that indeed trouble won't last always. We must discover the sovereign place of serenity within us. Why? Because it is indeed a wellspring of joy that can heal our brokenness and dispel the fear that has kept us apart. We must evolve toward community and not isolation. Why? Because indeed we are better together. Thank you, Sloan. We must continue to evolve toward empathy rather than toward cynicism and indifference, because empathy fosters understanding, connection, and positive relationships. We don't need a Bible or another sacred text or even a preacher to tell us that we should love others, even our enemies. Why? I'm glad you asked. Because wisdom teaches us that the first person benefiting from the love shown is not even the recipient, but rather is the one that is doing the loving. Treating one another with dignity and respect is always the right thing to do. Why? Because when we do, our own humanity is made manifest. This is what we are made for. I was speaking to a church member the other day, a church mother rather, and she spoke about having gratitude and hope in these latter years of her life. I could tell that she was evaluating the sum of her life. She had reached a place of deep resolve and serenity concerning her place in the world. And with sweet confidence, she assured me that things would work out all right. And I caught on to that. So I will leave you with this bit of encouragement. We have that sovereign serenity within us. That wisdom to draw upon is in us. In that wisdom, I have resolved something in myself. See, I know that there will be those who are resistant to change, but I also know that progress will continue. The arc will bend because we will continue to bend it. Amen? We have the strength, the courage, and the wisdom to get it done. Now, wisdom tells me that diversity, equity, and inclusion is not going away. A woman's right to choose will be a choice again. That the banned books will be readily available for all to read. Q+ communities will only increase in their visibility. Because as long as there are people who long to be free, change, our evolution is inevitable. That's life. It's all change. If this generation refuses to accept change and to evolve, then wisdom assures us that the next generation will. And no doubt there will come a time when you and I will boldly and proudly stand still so that the next generation will see how far they have come. May it be so. Amen.